is and always has been that you have to start over. Even if you're successful and you get a deal and you've got a paycheck, what I call that shut up money check, that's that first deal or maybe that next deal paycheck in your case that tells all your doubts and your haters and all the naysayers and all that fear and anxiety, it finally lays it to rest, tells them to shut up. This works. But tomorrow you have to start over. That's the problem. The problem with being a real estate wholesaler is that every day you start over. So I set about in my career as a real estate wholesaler to fix this problem. And I'm proud to announce that I have fixed this problem, and perhaps you've been following my content for years and have never really picked up on this. But maybe you have heard me talk about an installment agreement and a promissory note. Creating notes, creating passive income for yourself at any and every turn. But especially right now, I want to call your attention to sandwich lease options. Now, can you create notes as an ugly house wholesaler? Yes. And it is the same process that I will explain to you today and this week. I plan on spending time in this topic every day this week, probably, maybe next week too. But creating passive income for yourself with a promissory note and a installment agreement when it comes to wholesaling is how you stop from starting over every single deal or deal attempt. And it's aggravating because even when you're successful, the temptation as an ugly house wholesaler is to be successful, get that money, and then the first thing you want to do is take 3 weeks off because you're tired. Because the process and the learning curve is exhausting for you if you're new. And now you're successful on some level. And this is really honestly, if you want to know, and you guys know I shoot straight with you. This is what I don't like about JV wholesaling with you all. Okay? I don't like it for the sense that it's like you've crossed the finish line. Yes! I got a signature from a homeowner. I'm way off topic, but I think this is important. Yes, I got a signature from a homeowner. Here you go. I'm dropping it in your lap. Good luck. And you don't really learn how to think like an investor that way. Okay? And I want you to think like an investor, someone who is not just doing a job of acquisitions and then quitting and starting over with a new job of acquisitions tomorrow or the day after you're successful again or the day after you fail again. You're starting over and over and over. How do you get out of that cycle? How do you create a real estate career from wholesaling? You create notes. I know of no other way than to create notes. So how do you create notes? Well, I have an assignment addendum, or you can call it an assignment agreement. It's at realestatewholesalersclub.com. You can scan the QR code right here. You can go there. You can get my lease option agreement. Not only that, you can get my assignment addendum. And this assignment addendum will create, okay, it comes along with a promissory note. It comes along with a payment plan, okay? So you can put all of these things together. Now here's how you would use it if you're an ugly house guy. You would simply use it by going to your buyer, and your buyer always beats you up. Always. Never on any deal have you ever done ugly house where the guy that bought the deal from you didn't beat you up at least a little bit. Even if he loves you. Even if he's one of those guys who's like, hey, I don't like to beat up the wholesaler because I want repeat business, and I'll give you the fair. I don't mind you making a profit. I'll give you the fair share of what's yours. Okay, great and all. That's wonderful. But even those guys are beating you up. Okay, they've got limits that they've set on what they want to do. Have you ever thought about what if they were to sign some kind of promissory note, some kind of an installment agreement, some kind of plan with you where, hey, yes, instead of me reducing the purchase price, my assignment fee $5,000 to make it work. How about we come up with some kind of an installment plan where when you sell the deal on the end there, Mr. Fix and Flipper guy, okay, you pay out maybe a few $1,000s then. Okay, maybe, see what I'm doing is I'm creating a note. Creating a note. All right, now they don't talk about this on the wholesaler guru channels. Okay, and my favorite one is the one that calls everybody but themselves gurus. They don't want you to learn this part because then you wouldn't bring your deal to them and drop it in their lap and say, here, will you do almost nothing for half the work, for half the money? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm not naming names. But I'm just saying it's not really a fair deal. I want to teach you how to go ahead and get a payday today, a payday on the way. Isn't that nice? Wouldn't that be nice rather than starting over? Holy crap. We all started out with the plan. We're going to wholesale a deal or two, and then we're going to use that money, and we're going to do it to buy into this program, to learn how to up then and take it to the next level. Hey, you know what? I have been stuck at wholesaling for almost like over 2 decades, really. It's like 22 years now. Why am I stuck at wholesaling? Because wholesaling is better for me than it is for most wholesalers because I'm creating notes every chance I get. Right now, currently, I counted them this morning, I only have 18 notes going right now. Yep, I've had some fall down, I've had some fall apart, I've had some not work out the way I wanted them to, I've had some work out and now they're over. At one time, I was pushing close to 100, okay? I'm telling you right now, I'm pushing more now. Because every time I create a note for myself, I create another payday for myself in the future instead of, I push that starting over thing away. Being a wholesaler is not like having a business if you're not doing this. Being a wholesaler, if you're not doing this, is like having a job. And that's what I don't understand about people. I don't get it. I don't get it. I watch these other gurus too, guys. All right, I see them. You know, I say other gurus, like I'm thinking about one in particular, but there's another one that I'm thinking about now. And I'm watching them, and I'm just amazed that people are going here. And basically what you're signing up for is to sit your ass in a cubicle in your own office and dial on a freaking dialer for 6 or 8 hours a day until you can hopefully outsource it to somebody who you think will give a crap about your money, but they don't. But it all starts you sitting in that, what? I'm sorry, but that's the stuff I'm trying to escape, man. But I don't get it. People run to that. I should probably start teaching that. I should probably start teaching how you can sit your ass in a cubicle for 6 or 8 hours a day and stare at the wall endlessly, hopelessly dialing over and over and over. Oh, I've connected to someone. Let me read this crappy script. And eventually, if I'm a little lucky, it'll work out and I'll get a payday. Thank you. But then the next day you got to start over. Just don't like it. I just don't like it. So let me talk about sandwiching, because I'm now designated this the sandwich shop. All right, because we're going to talk about sandwiches a lot from now on. Sandwiches are important because sandwiches are not just, it's not creating a note, because what we're doing there, what I was referring to, if you'll go to realestatewholesalersclub.com and you'll see that there is a tab that says wholesaling and sandwiching. There is an assignment addendum there for your free download. If you want to scan this right here, you can go there. There's a free assignment addendum for your download. You can download it and use it. It has the installment agreement, it has the promissory note, it has some language there. Feel free to edit it to make it fit your ugly deal or your pretty deal. It's designed right now to fit my pretty deals. But you can edit it and make it fit your ugly deal, and believe me, I do. I do ugly deals too. So I'm creating notes on ugly deals every chance I can. I mean, this is what we call mailbox, well, we used to call it mailbox money. Okay? Because that's all you do is you walk across the street to the mailbox. And when you open it up, there's a check. All right? So you want to create some notes for yourself. Well, but Justin, my buyer, he probably wouldn't do more than a couple thousand. Well, wouldn't that be nice if you got a couple $1,000s in 6 months? Wouldn't it be nice if you had a scenario created where, oh, well, yeah, you sold him the deal, what you felt like was a little cheap on the front end, but that's okay. He's going to be sending you $150 a month for the next 6 months? Well, what's $150 a month? I don't know. It's a light bill, maybe. Maybe it's a sewer bill. I don't know. Right now, if you're counting beans, 150 beans is 150 beans. And that's every single month for doing what? Something you did a while back. All right, so that's an assignment addendum or assignment agreement. But now, what I'm going to move on to another topic, which is sandwiching. This is a sandwich lease option zone. We're going to be talking a lot about making sandwiches, because sandwiches is where the real money is, everybody. Sandwiches is where the real money is. And I'm going to get into some examples out of my own life, and but today I want to set it up for you a little bit. Let's talk about what it takes to recognize a sandwich lease option. Now, first of all, it's helpful if you understand what a lease option is. Very helpful if you understand what a lease option is. It's good to see Ty here. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Are you in bed, dude?
I was laying down, yeah.
All right. All right. Welcome back. All right. So what we have here is, if you're going to recognize a sandwich lease option, you want to recognize, first of all, what a lease option opportunity is. All right. A lease option opportunity, first of all, you can get free training at realestatewholesalersclub.com. All right. You can go there and get free training. There's a tab called Free Lease Option Training and Agreement Package. You can scan the QR code right here at the top if you want to go there. But there's basic lease option training. But if you click the tab that says About Wholesaling and Sandwiching, there's some information about sandwiching there. And I want to talk about what it takes to recognize a sandwich for my lease options artists out there. If you're a lease options artist out there right now, or you're growing in that, you're coming up in your creative real estate offer tool bag, you're getting more tools for it, then I want you to follow along with me here, because you'll track me. Now, if those of you that are watching are like, I'm kind of lost a little bit on what that means, then you need to get the free training here with the QR code. All right, there's free training right there. There's several videos on what I call lease option theory, which is what you need. You need theory at first so you understand what the numbers mean, what they do, how it works, how profit centers are formed, because there's several. When it comes to sandwich lease options especially, there's several profit centers, and we're going to talk about those today. But first of all, we are generally talking about for sale by owners, number one. For sale by owners. I want you to think while we're going through this, how many people out there might fit this paradigm? As we go through what it looks like to be a sandwich lease option, I want you to think how many homeowners out there in the market right now kind of fit this. All right? How many for sale by owners are there? A bunch. All right? How many for rent by owners are there? Probably a lot. I'm trying to find out right now, because my suspicion is that it's growing massively. All right, so usually a sandwich lease option is a for sale by owner, sometimes a for rent by owner. Usually it is a pretty house. Why does it need to be pretty? It needs to be pretty because you're going to put a tenant buyer in there, and that tenant buyer is going to want to purchase the property. Okay?
Yes.
So, hey, thanks, Brunch, for the goat comment. I appreciate that, man. All right, so lease, and they have to be willing to lease and sell. Or they have to be willing to sell and lease. Okay? Not in that order, but they have, so in other words, if it's a for rent by owner, they're already willing to rent. They have to be willing to sell. Okay, so You got to ask them if they're willing to sell during a lease. Okay, maybe an extended lease. If they're a for sale by owner, you have to ask them, hey, would you be willing to lease it for, let's say, 24, 36 months, maybe 60? Okay. Do you see what I did there? 24, 36, maybe 60. Okay. And if they are, okay, then they're starting to fit now a sandwich lease option. All right, so what we have folks that are for sale by owners or for rent by owners, and they're usually pretty houses, and these are folks that are open to both, okay, leasing and selling. All right, now here's a question that I want you to consider here. Will they let you love them a long time? All right. Will they let you love them long time? Meaning, will they let you do that 24 to 36, or will they let you do 60? A sandwich lease option really grows in profitability over a longer period of time. I want you to file that away because that is some important knowledge. Will they let you love them long time? It means a big difference in a sandwich lease option. So your bottom line, if it's a 5 month or a 5 year versus a 12 month, okay? All right. So let's talk about why you would want to get into a sandwich lease option. What are some other things that you would have to know to recognize one? When you come across a deal, you might say, well, that fits a lot of people so far, Justin, for sale by owners, for rent by owners, pretty houses, and they're open to doing, a lease and a purchase. Okay, so they're open to those things. Let's say there's quite a few homeowners out there. Well, how would you know that, Justin? Well, because we contact them every day on several platforms. We're looking for homeowners that have some sense of motivation and they fit those criteria. Here's another thing that we're looking for. A low down to seller. Low down. Okay? So far, this sounds like a straight wholesale lease option. All so far, it is true. This is a lot like a straight wholesale lease option. You want a low down payment going to the homeowner. Can you have some down payment going to the homeowner? Folks, let me tell you something. You're going to have something going to the homeowner.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Even if it's not a down payment, the homeowner is probably going to say, well, hey, but if they're leasing the property, do I get like a 1 month security deposit or something? I mean, I would feel more comfortable if there was, like at least a deposit or something. Okay, a lot of times you're going to cough up something. You're going to cough up something. All right, but you want it to be low down. All right, right now we're finding tenant buyers, I guess because of the economy. All right, we're finding tenant buyers with 5% down, 7% down. Okay, so if you're going to give the homeowner 10% down, this ain't a deal. All right, so we're talking about looking for homeowners that are motivated enough to do this deal with us. All right. Somebody says the QR code doesn't work. Let me check that right here real quick. Okay, the QR code should take you to shutupmoney.com. All right, where you'll be asked to fill in your email address and name. If you want to skip that process and just go right in today, I'll let you do that at realestatewholesalersclub.com. Just go jump right in at realestatewholesalersclub.com. And I apologize if the QR code isn't working. I don't know. These QR codes are crazy. I don't really know what they all. I don't really know how it works. All right, but let's jump back on the train here. Low down to seller. So far, this sounds a lot like a regular wholesale lease option. But now here's where we get different. I want there to be equity in the deal. When I recognize equity, now I know right away. See, this is where it starts to change in my mind. The deal changes from a wholesale lease option. Now it starts to become possible for me that this is a sandwich lease option. When I notice that there is attainable equity. Now, when I say equity, what do I mean? You want to tell
It's
me?
like it's like Arby's, right? Arby's. They're like, where you got the beef?
What are you talking about, man?
There's meat in the deal. You're talking about sandwiches. You're saying, hey,
Oh
there's
yeah.
equity, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The sandwich shop. Yeah. Yeah. The equity is not really. Um, I wasn't thinking of it exactly so much as because the equity I'm going to capture at the end.
Okay. So you could create some of it.
So how do I recognize equity though? Is the question I want to get to here, and that is I'm going to recognize equity when I notice that the Zillow estimate says 300,000,
Mm-hmm.
and the homeowner says that they just want to do this deal for 275.
Okay.
Okay. Does that happen in every case? Every deal you look at? No. And that's what's so beautiful about lease options is now if it's I can do a deal all the way up to full market value and even a smidgen beyond. If I'm assigning that deal. Now, would I want to sandwich a deal like that with no equity? No, not really. Okay, so if I have a homeowner that has a house that's worth 300,000 and they have a property mortgage on it. Okay, they have a mortgage on it for, let's say, they have $275,000 that they owe.
Mm-hmm.
But their payment that they got the mortgage, it was like 3.5%. That
Yes.
was recently, right? So let's say
Mm-hmm.
their payment is $2,600 a month.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just with
Probably lower,
homeowners
but yeah.
with homeowners association and everything and all that and what all they got. Somehow it's a 2,600. I'm pulling numbers out of thin air here. Okay. So let's say that, but then let's say right now the mortgage rates are much higher. Okay, so you can see there's equity in the purchase price, but if I can link to that equity, because equity meaning the difference between the 275 and the 300,000, if I can link to that a monthly spread,
Mm-hmm. Cash flow? You talking about?
yeah, exactly cash flow. So for example, if the house is worth 300,000 and they'll do the deal with me for 275, well that means there's $25,000 worth of equity there that can be realized when this house sells to your tenant buyer for 300 or 300 plus. Okay, there's equity that you're going to grab. Now you're also recognizing, well, the homeowner wants 2,600 a month, but I can lease this property in this gentrifying neighborhood. I can lease it for 3,300.
Nice.
There's a $700 a month spread. Holy cow. Okay, so do you see why sandwiching becomes seriously important now all of a sudden? Because it drastically changes everything. Okay, I have right now in my business 4 sandwiches,
Nice.
and like I said, I have 18. I believe I counted 18 active promissory notes with installment agreements on assignments. So I've created passive income out of a wholesale business where you just start over all the time. Starting over, starting over, starting over. Every deal or every failure, you're starting over. You've got to come up in your game. If you're a creative real estate investor and you run across a lease option deal, so here's the real nut. Let me just say it. I'll summarize. If you run across a lease option deal starting right now, and it's a pretty good lease option deal. They're open to it, low down to seller. You notice that there is equity left in the deal. This might even mean that they want to sell for what the properties what they owe. And you know, there's going to be people in the chat that'll say, well, I would do, and by the way, thank you for being in the chat. There's quite a few people in the chat. Thank you. But yeah, there's probably going to be some people in the chat say, well, but I would do, if the person wants to sell the house for what they owe, I'm going to do a subject to. Oh, will you? Okay. What if you just did this and you sandwiched this deal and you were smart about it? You wouldn't have to take ownership of the property. All right, maybe you do a subject to. Maybe that's what makes sense. I'm just saying, this makes a lot of sense too. All right, sandwich lease optioning. When you sandwich a deal, there's equity here. It says we lost connection somehow. I hope not. And then there's a monthly spread. When I see those two things, I'm going to snag it up. I'm going to snag it up.